I'm very, like I said, I'm very confident in this team, regardless of the showing today. This
Mhm.
is like the worst we can play.
Finesse! Welcome on
Yeah.
back. Okay, so we are up to a 5 count at this point of just of this stuff. So you know what? I feel like we've gone through the motions enough time. One, I'll start off with something that I want to know right away. Being in the closet, I felt like that was a weird ass atmosphere of playing like that, bro. uh
Yeah. Strange for sure.
yeah, is it like almost like comical to a point when like when you guys play like that, you can see people like right in front of you just staring at you
No,
and shit.
no. There's a black bar that allows us to not, because obviously the way they did it is they don't want people to know that someone else is flashed, right? So if you see someone's face and you can see the reflection on the glass, then you know they're blind or something. So they avoided that by just putting a black
Hmm.
um like thing in front of us, so we
Hmm.
couldn't really see them. They couldn't see us.
Okay, you know what? Fair enough. Because I know that didn't stop Valen from getting up and talking shit, if anything. So that was fun. Uh,
We didn't see any of it.
oh well, unfortunate. Yeah. Because I
Yeah.
know, I know specifically because Mata came up to him before the game and said, "Yo, you're actually not that guy." and and I know Mata talk shit right after the game too. So like I
Yeah,
like that
yeah.
he's consistent. That's the best part about it. All right, but to move over to the game stuff though, hey, bro, you specifically, you finesse have been looking better and better each week, brother.
Not this week, man. This week did not feel like that for sure. These guys are way better, but in general versus us.
Fair enough. But I don't want to discount first and foremost that you got a 4K, or which
I
that was
honestly
nice.
don't remember
You
on
well,
murders.
yeah, yeah. No, no, on a cent with a stinger, bro.
Oh, we were down like 12-1. Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. And you brought it back for us. You did it. Round by
I
round,
did
baby.
rounds, hell yeah.
So that's what matters here. So it was cool. It was nice to like bring back, like kind of to go back to Prime Finesse. Like, oh, this is where we were. I remember it all now. But yeah, let's just talk about the game real quick, bro. Tough, like fucking rough game today, man. Just
Mhm.
and the closing thoughts on all that. What's up?
I mean, not much else to say. They were just way better than us. It wasn't even close.
Hmm.
Obviously, the score sometimes is deceiving, and it doesn't look like a 13-1 when it is. This one looked like a 13-1. Um, we got entirely outplayed. Felt like our game plan was not countered, like they didn't go into it countering us or anything, but just happened that way.
Hmm.
And we weren't able to adapt. I personally wasn't able to adapt in time, which is on me. Um, yeah, I mean, and then also just so many winnable rounds, or a couple of gun rounds that were obviously in our favor on
Hmm.
Lotus, and we just couldn't win them. And we were just doing individually. There was always one key mistake in a round, and this is kind of just what how Valorant is. You make one little mistake, and it just everyone ends up caught like dying because of it, unless someone makes a miracle play.
Hmm.
But they're a fundamentally strong team. We know that. They're not gonna make those kinds of mistakes to, like, throw away rounds where they have advantages.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, when we had advantages, we couldn't even close those rounds out. So,
Hmm.
um, this kinda game is deserved from us or for us because obviously there's a lot to learn, and they were just way, way better in, like, every aspect today, in terms of calling, in terms of how they were playing, what their game plan was. Everything was just way better on their end. But that doesn't discount the fact that there were chances in our round, like, there were multiple chances on our attack side, Lotus, where we could have gained momentum back, and we just threw away those rounds. And when that happens, you're asking to just call it. Like, you're just losing at that point, no matter what.
Hmm.
You're putting yourself in too big a hole to get out of. So, closing thoughts, honestly, are just we. It felt like we were afraid to win rounds today. Like, genuinely, like when we were close to winning a round, we would try to do more things to like win the round faster or just take a fight fast. Just bad fundamentals, and that is really unfortunate because I know what my team is capable of, and it did not show at all today. And I'm like kind of tired of apologizing about it. It's just one of those things where we have to. It just comes down to the same thing every week. You have to execute regardless of who you're playing against. And we were ready for their comp. We were ready for a lot of things, and they still just managed to outplay us. So good on them.
All right, fair enough. So you know what then? I want to move away from the game entirely because I find just hammering it home and asking more questions about it is just doing us both a disservice, right? Because essentially, it's like we're just kind of going around in circles because there's no point right now. It's just a tough game. It is what it is, right? What I want to get into a little bit too is I remember I was looking up, and I've done this before too, where I was looking up a lot of your older stuff, and specifically, I remember I found a interview from you from IEM San Jose, and this like 2015, like 9 years ago, right? And you were interviewed with Launders, funny enough, so it was cool, right? Which I've gotten to work with Launders quite a bit over the past year. It's been cool, right? So like getting to hear CS stuff from him, and one thing that I noticed was that your demeanor, mindset, and way of thinking, even your cadence at that point. Because funny enough, that day you were also just off the loss of G2 as well, right? Playing in NA. So yeah, it stayed consistent, right? You answered every question calmly, right? And one thing that's maintained true is you took a lot of responsibility, right? Every single time. But one thing that stayed true was that you were prepped going into the game. You understood what they did, right? Or back then you talked about, you know what the videos are going to be and understood how they played, right? But at that point you're also playing with like a young team with no coach, so it's like off an invite, so it's like, di-
Yeah.
different circumstances. But here too, it's like I understand a bit, like just that level of consistency and demeanor and mindset has stayed true for so long. I'm surprised that like even after all the highs you've achieved, right, you still managed to stay so level headed at every point in time. Where does that come from, you think?
Probably just the way I was raised. I've also been competing in like other things in my life. Over the course of my entire life, I've competed back in middle school, high school, and sports and stuff. So like getting like you love the highs and okay, let's just speak for Valorant or Counter Strike for a second. It's like the same thing. At the end of the day, you're always gonna have highs and lows. Um, you just have to kind of take it in stride and like enjoy the highs just as
Mhm.
much as you're gonna like you know be down on the lows and stuff like that. And it's just one of those things where especially in Valorant, no one team can stay on top forever.
Mhm.
And obviously, I've felt that like staying on top and wanting like having every team want to beat us when we were Optic.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you just have to like to answer your question. It's just one of those things where it's just how you're raised, I guess, and like
Sure.
how you are in general. You don't like I don't know. I'm able to just not look into it too much. Like I just enjoy it when it's like great, and then when it's bad, you just kind of take it on the chin, and you just try to move on and be better.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, I mean that's my honest answer. I don't really know if there's like any secret to it or anything. It's just
Yeah.
who I am. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair, right? Because like even when you talk about the games that I remember on the Energy podcast, you were talking about playing in Toronto. You were like, yeah, like, like it's just another game. That's just another international, right? It's very just like kind of straight line forward thinking of like a game is a game, and how you perform is really all that matters, right? Like
Yeah,
whether it be in Toronto, Bangkok, Africa, as you said, right? It really does not matter at all, too.
just like it's also like I like the thing I loved about competing. I always have, and the reason I've played for as long as I have, I think, is like I don't think there's anything other than competing in life where it's all completely on you. Um, if you win, great, and if you lose, it's completely on you, regardless of like you have your own achievements
Mhm.
and you have your own downfalls, but it is your fault if you lose. And I think that responsibility keeps everybody grounded. Um, of like, okay, this you have to win this. Your job is to win. So if you lose, you've done something wrong,
Mhm.
and you need to get better. And like I think that sense of accountability that the game gives you, that the sport gives you,
Mhm.
uh, there's nothing really like it outside like in a regular job. It doesn't feel like it's like would be the same.
Yeah.
So I think that pressure is what I love the most. Is like you have to win, and yeah, that's basically why I chose this line of work. I think.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense, right?
Yeah.
More on like what I'm more curious about too is like over the years, I imagine have your friends, your family gotten to see you watch you compete a lot, right? I imagine they'd have, right?
Not in real life, never. Only like online and stuff, and like my parents will stay up to like watch if I go to an international tournament, for example, they'll like
Mhm.
stay up to watch my brother. Same thing. So,
Oh,
but not in real life.
that's cool. I mean, that's kind of crazy then. And considering, are they still back in Toronto too? Hey, or
Mhm.
not? So then,
Yeah,
if you make Toronto, ideally they would get to watch you in person
yeah,
or not?
they would. Mhm.
Would that be like? a brand new feeling for you, you think? Like just like or
I have
would it
no
again be the
idea.
same?
It would be. I'll let you know when it happens.
Hey,
I
you
have
know
no
what?
idea.
Fair enough, right? And we'll see who does. I do hope it does because that would be
I'll
mad
be
cool.
honest, bro. I'm very, like I said, I'm very confident in this team, regardless of the showing today. This
Mhm,
is like the worst we can play. Um, can't get much worse than this. I'll be honest. I'm very like genuinely embarrassed for the way that we played and how we performed,
mhm,
and it sucks because, bro, we are so much better than this. And I think, regardless of what like the public outroar will be, I like know what we're capable of because I see it every single day in practice.
mhm.
It's literally just about clicking when it matters
Sure.
and executing in the match.
Okay.
And when we do that, it's a completely different team. So yeah, like we are outplayed today, but I have a lot of faith in this roster.
Yeah, I agree. Final question I had was a general one where I remember I asked Valen this too, just before this too, was the freedom of independence and individual players in your team. Because Save talked about this a lot, where he says, and Valen specifically also mentioned that he makes the pre-call and is like, you know what, he just trusts his team to make a high number of high percentage plays, right? And
Yeah,
only micros would he feel like he's in flow state.
yeah,
Do you also share the same mentality as well?
yeah, 100%. It's just how it always is. Like if you are feeling it as a caller, calling wise, you're almost always going to micro because you have a map in your head. You know exactly how they're rotating, and it's a very very easy to call it that way. Because you're essentially just winning your team the round by calling. Um, and then you just have to trust the rest of your team when you're not in that state to be able to figure it out for themselves and make the high percentage plays like you said,
Yeah.
and make the correct like decisions in the moment, and then you just don't like interfere with that too much. You don't, especially on defense side, but even attack, you kind of, especially me being a lurker on the attack side, it's very also very hard to call when you're on the opposite side of the map. So I kind of just let them do their thing. We go in with a game plan. We go in with what I want to do or what Mike's wants to do, and then we try to execute it.
And you know what? So far, it seemed to be doing all right. I appreciate your time, and I thank you for being here. It is always fun when we get to chat at these after these desperate situations. But
Mhm.
I'll let you go once again, and I'll catch you again soon. Take care, man.